¡Roar! Muy buenas, gente. Sean bienvenidos a The Stanley Parable. Un juego que me puse a buscar en internet, estaba buscando y de repente encontré un juego que... Bueno, encontré este juego de Stanley Parable y decía algo de Mindfuck también al lado del video, porque estaba viendo unos videos y dije, ok, ¿qué es eso? Entonces vi más o menos cómo era el juego y la verdad no sé, dije, oh, quiero descargarlo, así que lo descargué y dije, sí. O sea, el juego no es gratis, por si acaso, no es un juego free, pero vale la pena, sí, es un buen juego. Yo se lo recomiendo para pasar un buen rato. Aquí ven una pantalla donde está pasando lo mismo que en mi pantalla, luego en esa pantalla otra pantalla, en esa pantalla otra pantalla y así. Bueno, para que vean más o menos de qué trata el juego. Comencemos. No, sí, siempre me cargan los loading. Me cargan mucho los loading porque, bueno, no me gusta que cargue. Es más divertido llegar y jugar, pero bueno. Click to skip. Okay.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
No voy a leer nada.
number 427.
Ustedes lean.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them. And
eso suena complicado.
this
Bastante
is what
complicado.
employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-ending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Bueno, eso era lo más importante de todo, que fuera feliz.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened.
Forever alone, please.
Complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Bien. No quería leerlo porque prefería que la voz del narrador hablara. Yo solamente he comentado un poco. Me parece bastante interesante la historia y quiero aclararles al tiro que de inmediato que esto no es un juego de terror. Nos vamos a desviar un poco del terror hoy para jugar este juego que la verdad me pareció bastante interesante.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Mire, si se fijan, estos empleados trabajaban más juntos. Cállate, quiero hablar. Déjame hablar. Tranquilo, viejo. Pero Stanley era uno de los que trabajaba forever alone, que no le importaba a nadie.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Sí, pero yo quiero abrir la puerta. No se puede, obviamente, sí. Oh, puedo apagar el computador bien. Ah, ya, ok, con el clic se interactúa y todo eso. Bien, qué lindo. Oh, la cerré. Ok, bien.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok. O sea, ok. Me dicen que entró a la puerta a la izquierda, así que vamos a hacerle caso. ¡Oh, se me desvió! ¡Oh, se me desvió!
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
Sí, claro.
Just to admire it.
Por eso vamos para acá, ¿cierto? Es obvio. Oh.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Sí, está
Stanley
muy
simply
bonita.
stood here, drinking it all in.
Qué lindo. Sí, está bastante bonita la habitación.
Yes.
Sí.
Really worth it being here in the room. A room
Okay.
so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ok. No puedo saltar bien.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Por Dios, ok. Dirá otra cosa más. A ver, voy a quedarme aquí, a ver qué pasa.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to
El juego
send him a
estaba tratando de
message.
transmitirle un mensaje. Ok.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Ah, bueno, sí, es que nos dicen que por aquí tenemos que ir, así que hay que hacerle caso porque no, sí, claro que no.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Pero pues, qué rara mi risa, sí. No sé, como que no sé, no he tenido mucho ánimo hoy día. Pero no puede ser. Es increíble que no lo hayan despedido hace años. Caution. Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. Precaución. No mienta. Si usted está mintiendo, deténgase ahora. Ok. Bien. A ver. Peligro. No saltar por la... esto. Cuando está en movimiento. Puede causarte la muerte. No me digas. Castigo. No. Multa por usar esto. Ok. El elevador de carga. Multa por saltar. Ya, multa 1000. Multa por saltar de... Ok, o sea, los empleados de este lugar están tan estresados que pueden llegar a tirarse de aquí.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why?
No, tranquilo,
I don't know how
viejo.
to convince you of this, but
Tranquilo,
I really
viejo.
do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Ok. Peligro por todas partes. Ok. Peligro por todas partes, ¿qué carajo?
Now listen carefully,
Okay.
this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ah, sí. Soy.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Por la puerta red. Ok, eso está mal traducido.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ok. Sí. Bueno, creo que no me queda más. Ok.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see?
No me
There's nothing
moleste
here.
ya.
I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer
En
textures.
realidad no
Is this
era
what
esto lo
you
que
wanted?
quería.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did.
Mira, y
And
otra.
in the end, it was all for nothing.
Una plataforma.
Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this
Tranquilo,
game
viejo. Yo solamente
What
tenía
did you
curiosidad.
want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you
Ok,
what,
ya,
take
tranquilo,
a stab
viejo.
in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley.
Ok,
Take it for
bien.
a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say
Está
that
más
the game
bonito.
benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you.
Sí.
If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party
gusta.
train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
The Stanley Parable. Worldwide Leaderboard. Tabla de... Oye, ¿dónde estoy yo? ¿Por qué está Nicho Nacho y no estoy yo? A ver, dígame. ¿Qué pasa conmigo? Ok. Estoy online, sí. Soy el número 9328. Ok, de 9328 jugadores. Bien. Tomamos de nuevo esta puerta.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No me gustó para nada.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't
Bien.
mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Ok. Arigato. Gozaimasu. Oh.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Really? Really? De verdad. O sea... ¿Pero por qué tengo que estar haciendo esto? ¿Por qué? A ver, díganmelo. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué carajo tengo que estar haciendo esto? A ver. ¡Ah! ¡Botón! 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 ¡Buah! ¡Buah! ¡Botón! ¡Botón! ¡Muere! ¡Muere, maldito bebé! ¡Muere! ¡Muérete! ¡Muérete en el maldito fuego! ¡Quémate! ¡Quémate, maldito bebé!
Bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to
Cállate, el maldito juego no entretiene nada. Cállate, maldito narrador. Te odio, I hate you, maldito narrador. ¿Por qué?
I'm out, I'm done. It's over.
Ok.
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to
Sí,
ease the
era muy
pain.
horrible.
Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work.
Ok,
Let's
¿qué vas a
give it a
hacer?
shot.
Ok, grité mucho, me duele un poco la garganta. What?
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one
sí.
thing you've always desired.
¿Qué carajo con
A game I
Minecraft?
had
¿Qué carajo
absolutely
con
nothing to
Minecraft?
do with.
Yo dije, no
But
voy a
is it
jugar más
enough?
Minecraft.
Tell me that, Stanley.
¿Qué
Will
carajo?
it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on,
Tranquilo, viejo, yo solamente tenía curiosidad de la puerta azul.
Watch this, Stanley. I'm
Tranquilo,
going
viejo.
to build a house.
¿Qué pasa?
This will go here. No, here. And then...
Ok, ¿qué estás haciendo? A ver, dime.
See, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
¿A eso le llamas casa, amigo? ¿A eso le llamas casa?
Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Incluso esta versión de Minecraft se ve mejor que el Minecraft real.
Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Ok.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out
Esta
of
casa es horrible, por Dios.
diamond everything.
Ah, ok.
Yes.
Bien.
Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Arigato, cosa y más. ¿A dónde hay una cuevita? Oh, cueva. Oh, cueva. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh my, it looks like it's
Oh,
going
qué
to get a
lindo.
bit dark. Have you brought a light?
No he traído una luz. Qué lindo.
No,
Oh, hierro,
this is far
hierro.
more open-ended
Dame un
than I
pico.
had in
Dame un pico
mind.
de piedra
I'm
por lo
looking for
menos para
something
picar
more
este
narrow
hierro.
and linear.
El hierro
Something that
es
makes you
importante.
feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the
Oh, una
diamonds
araña,
couldn't
escucho una
save
araña.
this one. Okay, new game.
Un zombie. ¿Eh? Oye, estaba jugando. No me hagas eso. No me cortes el juego así como así. ¿Eh? Ah. Oh, creí que se había crasheado el juego. Eso hubiese sido terrible. ¿Eh? ¿Qué carajos?
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You trapped in a glass box.
Really?
No way out.
Portal?
Listening
¿Por
to
qué?
me
¿Por qué estoy
talk.
jugando
It's
Portal?
inspired. I couldn't have done
¿Qué
it any better
carajos?
myself. What is this game even supposed to be?
¿Por qué estoy jugando Portal?
Okay.
Oh, qué lindo.
I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Oh, qué lindo, bien. Oh, qué bueno. Al fin estoy jugando Portal. No había jugado a Portal antes.
Ooh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley.
¿Qué carajo?
Your forte.
A ver. Me rebota, yo creí que no pasaba nada. Bien.
Genius.
Genio. Ok.
No, actually, you know what?
¿Eh?
I think that's plenty. I really don't care
Oye.
much to see you stumble through any more of these
Déjame
games.
jugar Portal
And I
tranquilo. Ok. ¿Dónde carajos estoy? Bien. Ok. No sé dónde carajos estoy, pero estoy en algún lado. Y me da miedito. Está todo muy oscuro. No es como antes el juego. Para nada. No sé dónde carajos ir. Oh, una luz. Oh, la... ¿Luz? Oh, la luz. La luz. La luz. Oh, oh. ¿Eh? Oh, 420. Oye, esa es mi habitación. ¿O no? ¿Qué carajo? ¿Qué carajo está pasando aquí? Oye, ¿y el narrador? Ok.
I wonder what he found.
Me pregunto qué
If
encontró.
what he wanted was to be the leading
¿Qué
man in
encontré?
his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's
Me
happy
perdí.
with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes.
Tranquilo,
Yes,
viejo,
I'll be back.
tranquilo.
There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ok. ¿Y? ¿Ahora qué pasa? Ok, terminó el juego. A ver cuánto rato llevo. Oh, llevo mucho rato, pero... Es que me gustó el juego. Voy a jugar una vez más. Tiene muchos finales, así que vamos a hacer hartas partes. Voy a jugar una vez más. Tal vez edite algunas partes para que salga un poquito más corto. Tal vez no. Pero al menos ya sabemos lo que tenemos que hacer y le voy a hacer caso esta vez.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
Tips
office,
para no ser
hoping
despedido.
he might find an answer there.
Ok. Oh, broom closet. ¿Eh?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ni lo pienses, viejo. No me voy a quedar aquí. Esta vez no te haré caso. Sé que cuando no te hago caso las cosas van mal,
There
pero...
was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet.
Pero yo
No
me quedaré
reason
aquí,
to still
viejo.
be here.
Yo me quedaré aquí. No te voy a hacer caso esta vez. O sea, la vez pasada tampoco te hice caso, pero...
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
XD.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing?
Oye, estoy caminando.
Why?
Estoy dándome
Please
vueltas.
offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Sí, ok, viejo, tranquilo. Yo solamente estoy revisando
Maybe
que...
to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concern.
Estaba arregloso. Ok, me voy, tranquilo, viejo.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Bien, te haré caso.
upstairs to his
Te haré
boss's
caso porque...
office.
Ya creo que te desobedecí mucho, así que, ok, sigamos nuestro camino. Por mí está bien
Stepping
esta
into
vez.
his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Oh, sí, ultra secreto.
245. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Bien.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Botones al azar, sí, claro. Tú me dijiste la pinche clave. Ok. Loading. Está muy bueno el juego, está muy bueno. Yo se los recomiendo. Díganle a sus padres, oh, quiero este juego, y te van a decir, no. Y después tú le vas a decir, quiero este juego por lo menos para Navidad.
Stanley realized
Está muy
he
bueno.
felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ok. Un poco escalofriante el lugar.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
Mind
large door that read Mind
Escape.
Control Facility.
Ok. ¿Por qué querría escapar? ¿Qué facility? No sé qué es. Pero control mental, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué control mental? Una luz.
The lights rose on an
Okay.
enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Bien. Qué enorme el lugar, por Dios. Cámara. Ok.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Oh, por
Their
Dios.
true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers.
Ah, de aquí venían las órdenes. O sea, eran controlados mentalmente. Ah, ahora entiendo por qué a Stanley no... Ah, esto explica parte de la historia. Podríamos decir que estamos yendo por buen camino en la historia.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
Instalaciones de control mental.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
Eso era lo mismo que decía yo.
His emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
Jamás.
Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Claro que no, nos liberaremos.
The operation, controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
¿Qué carajo hacía ese
And
botón?
as the cold reality of his past began
Oh,
to sink
ahí hay
in,
más botones.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
¿Qué habrá aquí? Aquí hay otro botón. ¿Para qué sirven? No sirven para nada. Bien, yo me voy. Uy. ¿Verdad que no se puede saltar? Bien. ¿Qué carajo es esto? ¿Qué carajo? ¿Qué carajo? Por Dios. Bien, Facility Power. Instalaciones de energía. Mind Control Idle. Ah, ok. El sistema de
And when
control.
at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Botón legendario, botón legendario, por Dios. Había que poner fin a esto. ¿Qué carajo es eso? ¿Puedo moverme?
Blackness and
Oscuridad.
a rising chill of uncertainty.
Sí, está bastante oscuro.
Was it over?
¿Había acabado? Tal vez sí. ¿Qué carajo?
He had won. He
¿Qué es
had
eso?
defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives,
Oh, qué lindo.
it will
Qué
be
lindo.
his.
No tengo palabras
That
para
was
esto.
all he needed to know.
Muy buen juego, muy
It
buen
was
juego.
perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Bien, este video va a estar un poco largo, pero va a estar muy bueno.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation,
Oh,
the
qué
immense
lindo.
possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, qué lindo, por Dios, qué lindo. Qué hermoso, hermoso. Muy lindo el final. Es como el final bueno, porque delante sacamos un final malo. Bastante malo. Bien. Oh, por Dios. Oh, bien. Esto sería todo por hoy de Stanley Parable. Seguiremos jugando para sacar más finales. Creo que tiene muchos finales, porque vi un video que decía All Stanley Parable Finals. O sea, en inglés, todos los finales de Stanley Parable, que es este juego. Y el video duraba más de 1 hora, por lo tanto, son muchos finales. Y trataremos de sacar los más posibles y ver qué otras sorpresas nos tiene el juego. Me ha sorprendido bastante. Me he reído bastante. Ha estado muy bueno el juego. Ha estado bastante bueno, sí. Y eso. Seguiremos jugando este juego porque está muy bueno. Entonces nos vemos en la próxima de Stanley Parable. No olviden dejar su dedito arriba si les ha gustado el video. Y suscribirse también si es que quieren ver más videos de mi canal. Así les avisará cuando yo suba un video, que es de lunes a viernes. De lunes a viernes, un video el lunes, el martes, otro el miércoles, así. De lunes a viernes un video cada día. Y eso. Espero les haya gustado el video. Espero que se hayan entretenido como yo. Les invito a descargar el juego, o sea, a comprarlo en realidad. Si no hagan lo que hace toda la gente, de descargar juegos pirata. Yo me he descargado algunos juegos pirata, pero es mejor comprarlos, porque así los tendrás siempre y podrás obtener todos los beneficios que el juego tiene, como actualizaciones, a veces los modos online y todo eso. Así que es mejor comprar los juegos en cierto modo. Si ustedes tienen tarjeta para comprar por internet, pueden hacerlo. Los juegos no son tan caros. No son muy caros en realidad los juegos de computador. Y eso, bueno, les invito a comprar el juego. Y nos vemos en la siguiente de Stanley Parable. Adiós.